Hi, Future Margaret, quick warning here. This was meant to be a super cute cleaning vlog, but then the book I was listening to turned out to be terrible. So there's going to be some ranting. I'm going to get a little bit saltier in here, and trigger warnings for transphobia and gore. Proceed with caution. But you know, if you're one of those people that likes me salty, have fun, I guess. Hello, my name is Margaret Adele, and welcome to a cleaning vlog, because I really need to take care of this room, and I need to incentivize myself by turning it into content. So, I am sitting here in the office, which is going to become my sole office, as my husband is taking the other bedroom, and right now I low-key hate being in here. Very messy, very cluttered, very much we put things in here when we're cleaning other rooms without thinking about where it's supposed to go. And now I have a room that is supposed to be all mine that I don't even want to step in. So we're going to take some time out of this summer break to start working on that. Now I am going to have to take things a little easy as I do this, work on it bit by bit around the room, because I just got all 4 wisdom teeth removed just a couple days ago, and thankfully both the surgery and the aftercare have gone incredibly smoothly, but we're not going to push it, so I'm going to take my time and kind of make this a maybe multi-day project if it needs to be, but just really getting through the organization and making sure that I'm not just throwing stuff in yet another place that will then again have to be dealt with later. But this is a booktube channel, so obviously I'm going to be listening to an audiobook as I do all of this, and currently I am working my way through Blood Circus by Camilla Victoire. This is a YA dystopian sci-fi about a world in which humans have fucked everything up, as they do, and this hidden creature called the Clune, who has been always among us but hidden, suddenly is discovered, and they have claws and bones that are great fertilizer for the dead earth, and they have this meat that is a super protein because so many other animals have gone extinct, and so thus begins the conflict. Humans are hunting Clunes for their body parts, and Clunes are angry and fighting back against humans, and our protagonist gets kidnapped from the compound she lives in and is forced to participate in death games. Now, this was marketed as Children of Blood and Bone meets Hunger Games, and I don't really feel the Children of Blood and Bone reference, although I have gotten 50 pages in, and I've read Children of Blood and Bone. Other than the usual, there's this being that can do things and they're othered, I don't really see it. But it's, right now it feels a little dated. The 50 pages in I've got up to and including things like early on in the book, she stands in front of a mirror and describes her appearance, and there's an over-the-top bully, and she is really, really invested in the government and really believes this very clearly fraudulent president, which didn't exist in the Hunger Games. Everyone was pretty aware that the president was evil, and it's really funny trying to make a look, these teenagers trust the president message in 2023. But I'm hoping that we'll get to the kitschy stuff. I just want to get to the death games at this point. I've already guessed 1 or 2 reveals, and we'll see if I'm correct. And if I am, I probably will be bummed, because yes, I don't hold it against the book if I can guess the reveal, but if the reveal is literally the first thing I guess because it's the most obvious thing, that bums me out a little bit. But who knows? Maybe this could surprise me. But now I gotta stop putting it off. I actually gotta start cleaning this room. This is everything that was sitting on that desk. And now we have to find something else to put over here for all of the storage stuff. And we're just, we're gonna ignore the rest of the room. Little bit at a time. Once we start filling this stuff up with stuff, it should start to clear itself out. Fingers crossed. So we went to 3 different thrift stores and didn't find anything, so there's still nothing right here. We did put out our other little shelving unit here, although it doesn't have actual shelves in it. It's all empty, but I did manage to put in some of that stuff. So the table is all cleared off. Everything that was on the desk is somewhere. That still leaves the rest of the room. It's not looking thrilling at the moment. We did already plan on going to some new stores across the river tomorrow, so we're just going to do that and hopefully find something that we can put here, and then I can get just everything on a shelf or in a drawer. That's what's most important right now. There will come a big day in the future where I have to actually look through everything, but I'm already at my wit's end as it is. And on to the book. I am now a little over 100 pages in, and it's okay. objectively, a lot of exciting big plot things have been happening. The problem is that it's still so dated by the book that it doesn't feel exciting. It feels like exactly what you would expect to come next. And also, it's a little bit frustrating that it name drops Hunger Games as a reference, but I can already feel how the protagonist is supposed to be this super ultra special, like born special protagonist, which flies in the face of Katniss from the Hunger Games. Like, the whole point of that was that, yes, she just was a normal girl trying to survive that was thrust into the position, but in this one you can already tell, no, she was born special, she was born with a specific way. I don't know what yet, but I have some guesses, and in general, I don't really care about those reveals, so those mysteries don't mean a lot to me. I am just here for the death games. I just want to see the kitschy circus death games. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm really hoping that I'm wrong about the possible romance I see taking place. That would be weird. But beyond that, it's not too bad. I think it's kind of sitting at a 3-star right now. I doubt I'll finish it by the end of all of this cleaning, but if not, I'll at least finish it and come back and finish out this vlog so that you know my final thoughts. But for right now, I have spoken way too much. My jaw is hurting again. So I'm going to call it for today. We will do our running around tomorrow, and then hopefully I can finish the rest of this tomorrow and have a space that I actually like to be in. So we did go over across the river and found this lovely little bookcase. So now I have a bunch of stuff on here. And yes, the room is clean, not organized. My poor fabric corner over there is, that's a whole project in itself. But regardless, I just love that I can just sit and sprawl out on the floor in the way I never could before. And of course, I was listening to the audiobook as I did this. I actually listened to it a little bit last night as well as I was doing the dishes. And I have thoughts. So, we did have our first, culling the first character to die. It was exactly the character you thought it was going to be. And I liked the setup for it. They're introducing a pantheon of deities. Sounds fun. Just one problem. The pacing is a crawl because it keeps getting interrupted with the protagonist's flashbacks and memories and dream sequences. The last chapter I listened to was a full 40 minutes. I don't know how many pages that is, but it was a full 40 minutes, and it was literally she sees a sparrow in the current time, and the rest of the chapter is flashbacks. And it's I'm here for the death games. You've started it, right? We've set it up. People are going to start dying. Okay, cool. Keep going. Why are we stopping? And I know why it's stopping. It wants to get the message of the book through. The problem is that it's very heavy-handed and ham-fisted. And that is very pro-environmental, pro-nature. Now, obviously, I don't dislike that message. I have my laundry detergent, dish detergent, and shampoo stuff in refillable bottles. I have a garden. I do all of that eco-friendly stuff. The problem is that as someone who does the eco-friendly stuff and has talked to people, there's a very specific way you gotta talk about it to not make people defensive. And this book is not doing a great job about it, especially when it's trying to have the people running the death games stating the thesis about environmentalism. And it's you're gonna have a really hard time when it's the people kidnapping teenage girls and forcing them to participate in games to the death that are the ones trying to tell the thesis of your story. No one in Hunger Games thought the Capitol had a good idea. It's very muddled. You don't want the people forcing death games to be the ones to be yes, we need to care about Mother Nature. No, that's muddying things a lot. But I'm still here for the death games. I just wanted to start. We know that 3 characters can survive, so I'm trying to guess which 3 I think it is. I'm trying to guess, okay, who's going to die for the character development of other characters? Probably, you guys. You guys haven't even been named. Probably you're going to die. I'm thinking through it. Who's going to live and who's going to die. So that's fun. But this pacing is getting to me. We haven't even gotten to, the second one of the trials, and we're already nearly to the halfway point. But I still have a lot of the book to listen to. or to read. I do have the audiobook, or the ebook rather. And I gotta figure out if I want to try to keep finding stuff to do, like doing some more of the like in-depth organizing while I listen, or if I just want to read it and finish it out, because it's been a while since I finished a book. I haven't finished a book since before my wisdom teeth, and yes, I am feeling much better, thank you. But I need to finish another. It's just, I still want the death games, but I'm a little bit over the browbeating with the message. The message needs to be woven into the story a little bit more, not discreetly, but smoothly at the very least. And we're not getting that yet, but we'll see how it goes. So it is the next day, and to celebrate that my office is now clean enough for me to want to hang out, and we are going to chill out in here while I work on a crochet project. Got a blanket to make for a niece, and listen to the audiobook. I don't know how long this will be. I might shake it up, maybe go play video games while I listen, or do something else. I don't know, but we're going to see how far I can get just listening to the audiobook, and then hopefully I can finish it by the end of this vlog. I gotta finish this vlog by this weekend because I have big plans for next week and I really need to get some books read. So let's go. Okay, so I only listened to about a chapter before my husband came home, and then we ended up going out for a late lunch and some garage sale shopping. That was fun, but I did come back and got back to the listening and crocheting, and the messaging of this book is just super muddled. We did get one of the next challenges, which I liked. It was nice and dramatic. But then afterwards, we had more flashbacks and more of that browbeating environmental message, and also very clearly trying to turn the Clunes into good people, like the right people on the right side of it, because like it keeps talking about how the Clunes have different gender ideas, and the Clunes are more in touch with nature, and their part of nature is healthier. And like, yeah, that could all be true, but the death games are still going on. Like, that challenge, people like lost an eye or a finger or nearly died. They were attacked. Like, it's a thing. So I don't know how well the maybe the Clunes are right actually works as a message. Again, this book name drops Hunger Games. The whole point of the Hunger Games is that the Hunger Games were bad and needed to be stopped. So trying to make the people running the death games also the ones that maybe have a point, not working as a message at all. It's not subtle either. It's so obvious that it's trying to prime the reader to being on the side of the Clunes up into having like the actual captives, again, still cannot leave under penalty of death games, like they're split. And now suddenly the people who are like really into the general president dude are like dividing themselves out from the other people. And again, more people are still gonna die. Like, only 3 can get to the end. Although, I wouldn't be surprised if this book twists it and tries to make it so that nearly everyone survives, aside from, like, the people that like the president or whatever. But again, someone's already died. Horrifically. It was a horrific death. You just... I know what it's going for now, and I'm not a fan. That being said, there is a side character that I'm pretty sure is an egg, and we're gonna find out that they're trans. I'm betting. I am so betting. But again, being queer friendly, right? Yay, bisexual here. Note the nails. Queer friendly does not excuse causing death. I know that might be strange, but no, death games still bad. The people running the death games still bad. And I'm gonna carry that through, even though this book is 100% gonna try to convince me otherwise. But I still want to see the other death games. And I also want to see how hard it tries to convince me the Clunes are good actually, or in the right actually. But we'll see. And now I gotta do probably some more crocheting, or it might be time to move on to some video games. I'm not sure. Haven't decided yet. Alright, I did it for a little while longer, but I think we're going to call it here for right now. I have a longer car ride tomorrow, so I could just listen to it in the car then. However, they did mention, one character mentioned that the whole Death Games thing is actually just the King's doing. Other Clunes aren't, like, about it, so it is possible that it could be dismantled, and we could have a society without that, so, like, I like that part. And I was correct, we do have a trans character. You watch the egg breaking in real time. That was fun. But also, I am again seeing hints of just even more of the protagonist being super ultra special, born at birth super ultra special, and I don't like that whole thing. It comes, it's not eugenics, but it's like closer to it than I would like. So I've never been a big fan of that whole they were born more special than everyone else idea. But I am hopeful that it can have a nice reveal attached. At least this idea that, hey, all clones don't like this death race, and maybe seeing it get dismantled will help with a little bit of the muddling in the message. But I'm going to put it off for now and come back later. So I actually didn't listen to the audiobook in the car. I did a little bit this morning, but in the car I was already kind of hazy and zoned out, and then I realized partway through the day that I had not taken the second dose of pain meds at the right time, and so I was dealing with a lot of pain in my head. I did take them, we're better now, but I just did not have it in me to like focus on an audiobook. So the little bit I did listen to, we had another character death, but it was one of the characters I thought would probably die, so I'm still on track, and it was big and bloody and all of that, and we are moving into more drama. There's fighting amongst the humans, and more indications that not all the clones are on board with this Death Games thing. And I keep forgetting, they call it like a blood race or something, but it's not a race. Like, it's a series of trials. They're functionally not racing each other to the death at all. But I don't know, maybe they just didn't want to compare too closely to the Hunger Games. Regardless, I'm going to just turn on some Minecraft, do some like terraforming while I listen. I will probably end up getting engrossed in it because we are at another big, probably a lot of deaths coming moment, with a lot of violence. At least that's what I'm expecting, because we are getting close to the end. We're in the third essentially, so my guess is we're going to see a lot of characters suddenly die just to kind of clear the field for the ending. But I will check in with you when I've gotten at least a few more chapters read. This is taking me a lot longer than I expected, but I did decide to change my plans for next week. I'm not doing the big reading thing I was hoping to do, so I can move this into the next week. It's just going to be a really late video. So I kept listening, and I was on a roller coaster of emotions. And we're going to talk about it. This is going to be a little mini rant. I'm going to spoil some things. Hopefully I will remember to put some kind of warning of where to jump ahead if you don't want the spoilers. But there was a moment in the big thinning of the herd scene where we're off a bunch of characters at once where I thought maybe I had misjudged this book, right? Where I thought, here's the Death Games, the proper Death Games I was looking for. Maybe it works. But then the trans character dies. Now, I'm not going to hold it against the book specifically. Only 3 characters can live, of course. Do I wish there had been some other queer characters so that this didn't feel like barrier gaze? Yes, but I get it. But then the book has the gall to imply that it's okay that the trans character is dead because they couldn't be their true self back in the human world. So it's actually better this way. And I fucking hate that. That is the mindset that leads actual trans people to commit suicide. Fuck that mindset. They are never better off dead, okay? First off, that started pissing me off. And then, the next game, again, I was willing to put that to the side. Maybe it just came across in a way they didn't really intend. Fine. We get to the twisted dinner game, where they have to uncover these dishes. And in these dishes, they have to eat whatever it is within a certain time limit, right? And it's either something totally benign, like beet juice that it happens to look like blood, or horrifically cannibalistic. And I shit you not, the last dish that comes up is the decapitated head of one of the previous humans that died. And the person has to eat her brain, right? Okay, and I'm thinking, wow, great twisted villain, really feel like he's psychotic. I really get it. And then he goes on his villain monologue, right? Okay, makes sense. Psychotic villain monologue to go along with the psychotic moment happening. Okay, cool. The protagonist starts thinking that maybe he has a point. I shit you not. There's this moment where she's like, I feel an urge to run from the table, but I don't understand why, with the implication being that she's trying to run away from the truth of his words. And I was like, no, bitch, you're trying to run away from the table because there's a decapitated head of your old friend on it. Like, what the fuck? And then it gets even worse. The book is anti-medication. Like, oh my gosh, like dead serious, because he starts going off about how humans are poisoning themselves with their food, and this character starts talking about or thinking about how she used to have night terrors and stuff, and how her mother, who was an agriculturalist and focused on growing things, refused to put her on medication. And basically the idea was that she was right to refuse to put her mentally ill daughter on medication, and how, oh, there's also an implication that depression is the result of just eating bad foods. Like the amount of low-key, right-wing, crunchy methodology is in here, and I don't like it. And I'm not saying that the actual author is right-wing, as there is a trans character, but again, they're implying the trans character is better off dead. So I don't know. But like, just how do you fuck it up this bad and make your villain, like, the idea of the villain trying to twist the protagonist's like vibe and trying to get like worm their way into the protagonist's head, like that makes sense, right? But you should not actually be agreeing with a psychotic villain that's forcing people to eat the brains of their dead friends. Like that's not what should be happening here. And I hate that the book is, again, using the psychotic tyrant leading death games to try and, like, pass the eco-friendly message. I can't. I literally just today was talking to a zero waste person at the eco-fillery who I'm going to be getting almost all of my household goods from, so I can, lessen my carbon footprint and lessen my waste. And I wasn't thinking, man, I would still be agreeing with this person even if they had a decapitated head on the table. Like, I take it back. The book is still muddled. It's still a muddled message. It's still trying to make the psychotic king also the voice of reason. There's over 100 pages left. And I honestly don't know if I'm going to continue it or not. If I do, I am probably just going to, like, go to the e-copy and speed read just to get it done. Just so I don't have to go at the pace of the audiobook, so that I can skim read at my very fast reading speed, which I always read faster than an audiobook, even when I speed the audiobook up. So I might do that, because it went from being kind of muddled and unsure to actually infuriating and actually pushing harmful ideology. So if I finish this, I can't imagine it's going to be much more than a 2-star at most, but there is a part of me that kind of just wants to see, like, how bad can it get? I don't usually hate read, but also I do want to see how it ends. So I'm going to sleep on it. I'm going to put it aside for right now and see how I feel come tomorrow morning. But I think I'm going to have to change the title of this. I was originally going to be like, cleaning vlog, yay, but now it's going to be, I get pissed off while I clean or something. I don't know. But I will check in with you tomorrow on my decision. I still want to try and get a dirty win for my TBR challenge, which means I have to find another book that matches the same prompt I originally picked Blood Circus for, which was 400 plus pages. So I found another Tiffany Roberts alien romance, not the third in the Spider Alien series, because I'm not prepared for that yet. The second book ended gigantically badly. But I'm hoping that because it's an alien romance, I can read it quickly. I also have started another book on my month TBR, so I'm not too far behind. I am bummed because I've still only read like 3 books so far this month, and we're almost to the halfway mark. But I can't force myself to hate read. I don't like hate reading. I don't really rant review. I know people have said they like it when I'm salty, and rant reviews do really well, but the idea of having to read over 100 pages of a book I knew I was going to dislike, and I knew was going to keep having those horrible ideas of all humans are at fault. All humans are not at fault. There are actually a ton of humans currently trying to save the planet. It's not an all human problem. It's a corporation systemic problem, not an entire species problem. But this book didn't really seem to understand that. This book also really did not seem to understand the trans character that it used as a token in this book, and I just was not up for reading more of it. I knew I was going to be arguing against the protagonist in my head the entire time. I knew I was going to have to watch the psychotic villain be the one that has some good points. Like, it's so strange to me that this book dropped Hunger Games as a comp, specifically when it's trying to make the Professor Snow equivalent the one that has the good points. That's so muddled, and I wanted to give the book the benefit of the doubt. But again, you can't have psychotic things going on and then have the person forcing them to go on to be the one that's like dropping the truth bombs. It's super muddled. The message got really waylaid by the death games. And someone else, I was reading other reviews last night, mentioned that there's not a lot of circus stuff in here. Like, and they're right. Like, I read it for the circus. I read it for, I want to see someone who went and lived in a circus to share like actual vibes or experiences from that time, and it doesn't feel like that. I don't feel like I'm getting a deeper look into anything, which was why I read it in the first place. So what we've learned is I really do need to give up on BookBub, because while yes, it has given me some of my favorite books of all time, more often than not, it's giving me duds. More and more, the actual books that like I love and I start reading the whole series are the diamonds in the rough, and the majority of them are books I dislike. So I still don't know that I can bring myself to totally delete it, but I think I'm just going to stop looking at the emails at all and move on to books I know I like. I do have that 400 plus page alien romance from Tiffany Roberts that I have coming up, so that'll be good. That's going back to an author I know I like already. I'm definitely not going to be going back to this author again anytime soon, especially if they really hold some of the beliefs that it appears that they hold in that book. Like, no, depression is not caused by poor nutrition. Yes, you should medicate people if they are mentally ill and need medication. Like, I'm not arguing those things, and I'm not going to read books that try to teach the opposite of those things. So, we're calling it here. I'll have to film a quick caveat beginning thing to warn people what this book or this video will turn into. But regardless, thank you so much for watching. Have you ever read a book that really infuriated you, or have you ever read a book that tried to make the supervillain the voice of reason, but in a poor way? Please let me know. And with nothing else to say, I hope you have a wonderful day and a marvelous tomorrow. At least the office is clean now. Look at all this floor space.